He had always wanted to be buried in his favorite blue suit. I said, well, not this time. You know what? You have to be very careful. You know, people get sensitive at a time like that. I didn't mean nothing by it, but, you know, they didn't have no insurance. They didn't have no money. And I just said to his wife, I said, look, since he's just this long now, why don't y'all get him a plot like in a pet cemetery? Just tell him his name was Fluffy. I tell you what, you pay close attention and see if this right here for most of you out there tonight, see if this don't bring back some precious, fond childhood memories to you about your mother and that covered dish. You think back a long time ago now when you was like, oh, just yay big. It'd be late in the evening, early night time. Everybody's out on the front porch after supper, about half asleep. Pot roast to do that to you. Remember, those were the good old days in America where a mother forced the kids to overeat. Made them eat. All right, y'all don't eat all that pot roast. I ain't gonna make another one. Well, hell. Do you remember this? Remember as a little kid, we'd all be sitting on the doorsteps, a kid would. All the grown folks could spend an hour discussing among themselves the last time it came a good rain. To a small kid, that never made no sense. But we couldn't say nothing back in those days. You couldn't back talk to your folks. But they'd be sitting on the front porch, somebody'd go, boy, we sure could use a good rain. Hell, it ain't rained real good since that last Friday in May. Somebody's going, no, hell, this rained since then. So I said, no, I'll tell you what. It rained the second Saturday in June. Reason you don't know, you was in jail that weekend. Then he said, well, that wasn't my fault. If y'all got a bondsman, I could have got out there on Friday. Then somebody else would say, well, anyway, we need rain. Well, yeah, I didn't say we didn't need no rain. And in our little hearts as children, we were sitting on the doorstep thinking to ourselves, who gives a rat's ass when it rains? All right, anyway.
But the real conversation, folk, is among the women folk. They're sitting here in the house, around the kitchen table, the dining room, where all the food is. Here's their conversation. Well, I see Elizabeth brought that macaroni salad. I knew she'd do this. I guarantee you one damn thing. If it had been somebody on her side of the family, she'd have brought some kind of meat. Well, let me tell you what I'm talking about. When her sister's husband died, he's the one who got killed using a chainsaw. He'd always wanted a chainsaw, and it was his birthday. So we all pitched in, you know, and 200 of us. $3 a piece. And we told her, we said, now you're not going to get no Christmas. But anyway, he was outside there cutting down fence posts. He didn't have no trees. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even his fence. So the neighbor shot him. Anyway, when he died, that being her side of the family, she baked a ham. Well, she says she baked it. She didn't bake that ham. It had pineapple rings and cherries stuck on it. I said, that's a Piggly Wiggly ham right there. But I didn't want to start nothing. Now let me show you all the difference. When my cousin died, now we're talking about my side of the family. He's the one who drilled himself to death. Okay. What happened was he had this high-powered Black & Decker drill, and he was going to put the screw back in his cowboy belt buckle. I know. I told him, I said, I think I'd take that belt off first. He said, don't tell me how to use my drill. I said, okie dokie. He about halfway through and sneezes. And his own blood thinner. He bled to death while his wife was in the next room watching Price is Right. She didn't hear a damn thing. Anyway, when he died, that being my side of the family, guess what she showed up with? 11 deviled eggs. Now, who in the hell would make an odd number of deviled eggs? We think she ate one on the way over here.
Remember years ago when it was a custom to bring the deceased one into the home for a couple of days before the burial? Remember this? And all the friends and neighbors and all the kin people, they would come over there, they'd bring food with them. Damn. When I was growing up, me and my little brother used to hope somebody would die so we could eat. Be like, I smell chicken, somebody must be dead. And you remember this? We always put the casket by the living room window. It had to be by the window. Just like this guy was a friggin' Christmas tree. Hell, move that couch, roll rubber right over there, you know. And I remember this like it was yesterday. Everybody that come in would spend 1 minute at the casket and 3 days in the kitchen. And they would talk about the food and who brought what. And it would go just like this. Somebody would go, well, I see Elizabeth brought that damn macaroni salad. I knew she'd do this. If it had been somebody on her side of the family, she'd have brought some kind of meat. Well, wait a minute, let me tell you one number. Listen to this. A year ago, when her sister's husband died, hell, she baked a ham. Well, she says she baked it, but it had those pineapple rings and those cherries stuck on it with a toothpick. I said, that looks like a damn Kroger ham to me. But I didn't want to start nothing. And then, listen, and just a few months later, her 19-year-old nephew died. Nobody knows why, he just died. I think it was the stab wounds.
And I think before I get started here, I'll just give you an update on some kin folks. Some of you know about this already. We all love our kin folks, but we have one or two we don't want to see too often. I got a cousin that way. I see him every 2 or 3 months. We have lunch, catch up on times, you know. He's always bragging about something. In the past year or so, he's been bragging about getting a brand new 6-quart crock pot. He don't have it yet. He put it on layaway. He goes on and on and on about that damn crock pot. He'll ask me, he says, he'll tell me about a crock pot like I don't know about it. He says, here's what you could do with a crock pot. You could put a dead chicken. He could have just said chicken. You could put a dead chicken in a crock pot early in the morning, turn it on low. And when you get home from work in the evening, it'll be ready to eat. Ain't that something? I said, yeah, but you don't work. I said, hell, you're there all damn day. He goes, well, I'm just saying, yeah. For as long as I can remember, he's never had a full-time regular job, you know. He don't know how to fill out a job application. Whereas his nearest relative, he'll put 12 miles. In case of emergency call, he'll write in like 911. See, he gets that attitude. His whole family is crazy. Have you folks ever been around people who will talk back to the television? Ah, damn. His dad, my uncle, God rest his soul, would do that. Remember back in the 80s, there's a popular TV show called Knight Rider, the talking car. That was my uncle's favorite show. The minute that show started, he'd go, I'll bet you a dime to a donut that somebody else is doing that voice. I'm like, oh, you reckon? Our Miss Piggy would come on the TV screen. He'd go, I bet you that's not a real pig. A real pig wouldn't wear a dress like that. And I will tell you this, and I'll move on. This may not be funny, but I'm going to tell you anyway. My cousin, he loves jalapeno peppers, and so do I love hot peppers. But he calls it jalapeno pepper. He'll say to a waitress, do y'all have jalapeno? You mean jalapeno? No, damn it, jalapeno. That's right. He will point to that jar of pepper. He says, see right there? That's a J. That's jalapeno. And I made the mistake of trying to explain that to him. I said, I know it's a J, but it's pronounced with an H. It's like the word Jose. The word Jose is Jose, but it's pronounced with an H. He goes, that don't make no damn sense. If that made sense, then Jello would be hello. It's just like it just gives you a damn headache. But he gets all that from his father. This was years ago. We've all been told, this is common knowledge, that 75% of all fatal car accidents usually occur within a 20-mile radius of where we live. When he heard that, he moved. He said, that ain't gonna happen to me.